Hey, so I wanted to share one of my old DMT trip reports. This was an oral DMT trip report that happened 5 years ago and 11 months, I believe. Yeah, that's what it says on the date. So this trip report was, as I said, from ayahuasca, and this was back when I was experiencing my psychotic manic episode, and I guess you can call it a psycho spiritual crisis. I know Sand Grove, I think his name is, a psychologist who labeled that kind of experience as that way. Right now, I'm obviously doing better now, but it's just funny to look back on what I was kind of dealing with in my head and be able to look at it from a different perspective. So I think you guys would be interested in this experience. So I'll basically summarize the experience before I get into reading it. This experience was very interesting because it was when I was really starting to get to notice that the oral DMT experience and the DMT experience in general had a specific archetype to it. And I would call the thing that I was seeing, I called it a black hole clown. So it was if my experiences was me stepping into a black hole, and then I would experience these weird clowns. And how the clowns came alive is basically I would see objects on my floor when I was in my bed. It's usually in the dark. And a lot of times I would see little tube arms coming out that kind of, I was able to see an actual entity, and the entity was a clown. It reminds me of the clowns from Poltergeist, you know, the long-limbed ones that have tube-like features to them. They looked very similar to those things. So I'm going to just read the first part of this just to give you guys some information before I get into the actual report. So it says, "Hey guys, I haven't been on much lately. I've been having a really bad week and I cannot shake my downness. So I'm going to go back home tonight. I know, sorry for my weakness, but I feel a visit from Mother Ayahuasca, Pharmawaska in this case. Do I feel I can gain a better hold on my life? It's been a while since I've tripped, and I've tried to hold off as long as I can, but I'm ego death breakthroughing tonight. Anyways, I'm going to probably do 250 milligrams of slightly impure DMT and 4 grams of Syrian rue, and hopefully that will get my spirits up. Have a great night, you guys. God bless." And then one guy said, "That's a lot of DMs, impure or not. Most traditional ayahuasca brews contain 50 milligrams or less." And then I said, "Yeah, I know. I'm looking for a struggle. Ha ha ha. Sending good vibes to your way, bro." And then let me just see what I was saying. Yeah, none of this is important. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I'm just going to get into the actual trip. Yeah, I also said, "I feel like Pharmawaska has become my way of acting out my suicidal tendencies without doing anything permanent that I would regret. When I was 2, I used to purposely self-harm to get my parents' attention." And then someone basically was asking if I had an experience yet. They were saying update OP, and then someone said, "I wouldn't expect a reply until tomorrow." And then I said, "This planet is pissed. There are evil demonic black hole clowns that are holding me hostage until we get the message. I'm dead. They're gonna kill me for everyone's ignorance and selfishness." I was really weird back then. I don't know what I was saying, but and then one guy was like, "LOL, how's that for an update?" And then I shared a picture of what I drew of the clowns that I was experiencing, and this was really cool because it kind of gives you an idea of exactly what I was seeing and how they are similar to the poltergeist clowns. And then I actually wrote the trip down after this, so I'll read the trip. Honestly, I'm pretty rattled. That was the first trip that I actually was afraid for my life from an entity. These things wanted me to face them so that they can kill me. On some level, I felt like they were trying to shed my fears to help me fight for the planet. It was mega pissed. They made my whole body feel extremely dense, and I felt like it was splitting while this was happening. I thought my body was overheating / overclocking. Which turned my room into some black hole entity. I had a strange feeling that if I died, the sun would explode right then and there. The whole room was a sadistic, evil Pennywise exorcism clown room. I felt like the Scarecrow dude from in the Batman Begins when he gets dosed with the fear hallucinogen and has to stare at the demon Batman in the face. I was petrified. These clowns were like a sea of horror and suffering. All kinds of evil souls from purgatory were herded inside my room. I felt sad for the evilness because I got the impression it thought it was unwanted or unappreciated. When I was silent in terror, my mom walks in and she was acting very strange. I felt like my trip was making her trip and she was standing there at times looking confused. I thought her face looked like some godlike demonic face, and I kept seeing her become possessed by the evil clowns, and then they tried to kill me while she was standing there. On some level, these clowns wanted me to face them. They were like, "You might as well, there's nowhere to hide, face us so we can eat you." There was a strange deja vu feeling. I feel like I've met these things before. On some level, I felt like they were a projection of my feelings, but those feelings are proportional to what the planet feels, so it's sympathizing with me while it holds a knife close to my throat. I thought it was actually going to kill me this time. My room was a black hole for all demons from hell to walk freely and do it with what they wish. Why was this so demonic? I feel like Stephen King is personally writing the trip that I had. What a sicko. These things are going to get madder and madder. I see some sort of nightmare Freddy Krueger stuff happening soon to all of us. Nighttime hell on Earth. You can't hide from your own receptors. I take this trip as a warning. Ego death apocalypse is coming. I did face them. I was quite sure I wasn't going to make it out alive. But the thing is, how many people's emotional woes are going to be projecting similar things stemming from their hang-ups? I estimate a large portion. Those afraid to face them will probably be left in purgatory of paranoia and madness. I have seen coked out schizos claiming something is chasing them. I think I got a taste of that something. So as you can see, I was saying a lot of weird, bizarre things because my mind was in a different place back then, and I didn't really have a filter of. Normally, when you're trying to communicate, you always have a filter of what you think you should say in order to not feel strange. And at that point, I was just saying anything that comes to my mind, and I was a complete open book. Anything that I thought I would basically say without any filter. So that's basically why I was talking a little bit strange in that. But it's really funny that even though I was really strange, I was picking up on a lot of interesting archetypes that do happen in the DMT world, and as you guys know, my channel is based on the clown archetype as the most prominent figure, I guess, of what it represents. And I don't really know if any of the things that I talk about in that trip report were really coherent in terms of a type of meaning, but it was still interesting to hear what I was trying to express and what I was trying to talk about. So I think that me at least writing down those experiences were a pretty positive thing because I get to look back on them and really sort of analyze where my brain was at the time and my feelings and why I would say the certain things that I said. And obviously I was dealing with a lot of emotional distress, and that's part of the reason why this manic psychotic episode kind of was going on anyways. But this was definitely part of the really high levels of it, and then it kind of tapered down for a bit, and then I actually got to a baseline for like 6 months, and then I kind of, once I got my confidence back from lifting weights, I ended up going pretty crazy and manic again for quite some time. But now I've definitely found a balance where I know how to communicate with people properly, and I have my filters on, and I don't just say anything that comes to my head. I really analyze what I'm going to say and try to express it in the most coherent way possible that doesn't make me look crazy in any way. So yeah, I mean, that was definitely something interesting that I thought you guys might want to hear about, and definitely the drawings were an extra icing on the cake. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and I'll see you in the next video.